The case that refused to end some scandals disappear with time. This one grew darker. The Epstein Files represent one of the most disturbing and controversial collections of legal documents in modern history. They are tied to Jeffrey Epstein, a wealthy American financier who was formally charged with sex trafficking of minors and accused by dozens of victims of years of abuse. Yet what made the case globally explosive was not only the crimes themselves, but the powerful individuals, institutions, and unanswered questions surrounding Epstein. The term Epstein Files does not refer to a single document. Instead, it includes court records, sworn testimonies, flight logs, investigative journalism, sealed and unsealed filings, and statements from survivors. Together, they paint a picture not just of criminal abuse, but of systemic failure, privilege, and the limits of accountability when power is involved. This documentary explores the top 7 dark secrets of the Epstein Files, not rumors, not speculation, but facts, patterns, and unresolved truths that continue to raise serious questions. Dark secret number 1: Epstein did not operate alone. One man could not run a global operation by himself. One of the clearest conclusions drawn from court records and victim testimonies is that Jeffrey Epstein did not operate in isolation. The abuse described by survivors occurred over many years, across multiple locations, including New York, Florida, New Mexico, Paris, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Such operations required logistics, transportation, scheduling, recruitment, housing, and security. Several victims stated they were recruited by other girls, introduced to Epstein through intermediaries, and transported between properties. These accounts suggest a structured system rather than spontaneous individual acts. Despite this, Epstein remained the central and often sole focus of criminal prosecution for most of the case's history. The limited number of charges brought against others has raised concerns among legal experts and human rights advocates. While some associates were questioned or named in civil lawsuits, criminal accountability rarely extended beyond Epstein himself. This gap remains one of the most troubling aspects of the case. Dark secret number 2: the flight logs revealed a world of power. The most controversial evidence was a list of names. Epstein's private aircraft, often referred to in media as the Lolita Express, became one of the most scrutinized objects in the investigation. Flight logs documented travel between Epstein's properties and international destinations. These logs included the names of politicians, business leaders, academics, and public figures. It is essential to clarify that being listed in flight logs does not prove criminal wrongdoing. No court has ruled that every individual named participated in illegal activity. However, the repeated appearance of certain figures, combined with contradictions in public statements, the flight logs also raised questions about oversight. Why were passengers not consistently questioned? Why were some records sealed for years? These unanswered questions contributed to the perception that powerful individuals were treated differently under the law. Dark secret number 3: Epstein's money remains a mystery. A billionaire without a clear business left investigators puzzled. Jeffrey Epstein was frequently described as a billionaire financier with deep connections to elite circles. Yet unlike most high-profile investors, Epstein did not operate a publicly known hedge fund. Nor did he publish financial performance records or maintain transparent client lists. Journalists and financial investigators struggled to determine how Epstein accumulated and sustained his wealth. While he claimed to manage money for ultra-wealthy clients, details remained vague. This lack of transparency fueled speculation about whether his wealth served purposes beyond investment, such as gaining access, influence, or protection. Despite years of investigation, no comprehensive public accounting of Epstein's finances has been released. This absence of clarity continues to be cited as one of the most suspicious elements of the case. Dark secret number 4: the 2008 plea deal changed everything. Justice was negotiated behind closed doors. In 2008, Epstein entered into a plea deal with federal prosecutors in Florida that stunned legal experts. Despite serious allegations involving minors, Epstein avoided federal prosecution and received a state-level sentence that allowed him to leave jail for work 6 days a week. More controversially, the deal included provisions granting immunity to unnamed potential co-conspirators. Victims were not properly informed, a violation later acknowledged by courts. Years later, a federal judge ruled that the agreement had failed to respect victims' rights. This plea deal is now widely viewed as one of the most significant miscarriages of justice in recent U.S. legal history. It established a precedent that wealth and influence could dramatically alter legal outcomes. Dark secret number 5. Surveillance and blackmail questions were never closed. Cameras were found, but answers were not. Multiple investigative reports revealed that surveillance equipment had been discovered in some of Epstein's properties. This led to widespread questions about whether Epstein recorded guests, potentially collecting compromising material. While no court has officially concluded that Epstein operated a blackmail operation, the presence of surveillance equipment, combined with his access to powerful individuals, remains deeply troubling. Former associates and journalists suggested that Epstein may have used information as leverage, though such claims remain unproven in court. The absence of a definitive investigation or public explanation into these findings has allowed speculation to persist. Further damaging public trust. Dark secret number 6. Many documents remain sealed or redacted if the truth is known. Why is it still hidden? Even years after Epstein's death, significant portions of case-related documents remain sealed or heavily redacted. Courts have cited privacy, legal risk, and ongoing matters as reasons for withholding information. However, transparency advocates argue that continued secrecy undermines confidence in the justice system. Survivors and the public alike have called for full disclosure, especially regarding individuals who may have enabled or ignored Epstein's actions. The partial release of documents has often raised more questions than answers, ensuring that the Epstein files remain a subject of global debate. Dark secret number 7. Epstein's death ended the possibility of full accountability. The most important witness never spoke. In August 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in his jail cell while awaiting trial. Authorities ruled his death a suicide. However, the circumstances surrounding his death, including malfunctioning cameras and lapses in supervisions, sparked intense public skepticism. Regardless of how one interprets the event, its impact is undeniable. Epstein's death permanently ended the chance for a full criminal trial, sworn testimony, and cross-examination. Many victims were denied the opportunity to confront him in court. The case shifted from legal accountability to historical investigation, leaving key questions unresolved. Why the Epstein files still matter? The Epstein files are not merely a record of one man's crimes. They represent a broader failure of systems meant to protect the vulnerable and hold the powerful accountable. The case exposed weaknesses in legal enforcement, transparency, and institutional courage. Until all relevant documents are released and unanswered questions addressed, the Epstein files will continue to symbolize how power can distort justice. The story remains a warning not just about abuse, but about what happens when accountability stops at the top.